Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm going to first of all read a letter that I wrote myself in 8th grade. So I titled this Advice from My Younger Self and Advice to My Older Self. Or I'll title something like that. So the point of that is this letter. Because I wrote this in 8th grade, I got it back my senior year of high school, right before graduation. I was going to just do a video on what I would tell myself in high school, but I thought this is a really good mash between the two. So I'm just going to read this letter to you guys, but I'm not going to say the names I put in here because I don't, want to invade privacy or anything like that. So I'm just going to skip over names when I read this. And then after I read this, I'll tell you kind of how my perspective changed. Then after that, I'll just give some advice or tips to my future self that I want to follow through with. And remember, this letter was written in 8th grade, so it does sound like an 8th grader wrote it. So, a little immature and yeah, let's just get into it. Dear future me, this year has been really hard, drama-wise. I hope it's all cleared up now. So-and-so's been a good friend to me. Are we still friends? And how about so-and-so? Are we still together? I hope so. It's our 1.5 years in a couple of days. How's Ace doing, which is my dog? I really don't know what to say to you, since you're me and all. Do you still want to be a teacher? Do you want that log house in the country someday? Man, I do now. I hope you still want it. Tomoki is here. Tomoki is here, still with us this year. It's gonna be sad when he leaves. He's really like my brother now. Did you make rave review your freshman year? Tryouts are sometime this week. I'm so scared. Oh, and did I get a slug bug car or a truck? I hope I get something. So-and-so is still one of my best friends. All of my friends are blank, 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 blank. I put like 10 people. Probably many more, but I just forgot. But I hope life gets better. Have you won any pageants, singing competitions? I sure hope so. My favorite ice cream is trash can. Is it still? Be safe at Marshall with so-and-so, if you guys are still going, that is. You might not even be friends. I hope that I've dreamed big and I've got what I've tried to achieve. I know God will help. He always does. I guess I'll go now. I hope you're well and living. I love you. Ha. Hope everything went well. Past Carrie. So yeah, I hope I'm living also. But just throwing that out there. Okay, so the point of reading this letter was to reflect back on my life. I know watching this, you may have known me growing up. You probably can fill in those blanks with the names. But if you're new to my channel or have been watching some of my videos, you probably don't know all of my past and you don't know all of those blanks I put in there. So a lot has changed, and I know the letter I didn't really give advice. It's just kind of I hope you're doing this, I hope you're doing this kind of thing. And a couple of things have changed and a couple have stayed the same, and that's what I love reading stuff like this. I am still going to be a teacher, and I don't really want a log house someday, which I seemed really pumped about in that letter. Just multiple things that I read that and I'm like, oh wow, I don't even remember feeling that way. Really, in my letter, I focused more on my friends and boyfriends and my dog, and at the end I mentioned God. So, and I mentioned a lot more, but I'm just gonna skim through the important things that I'm trying to hit here. So I mentioned all of these things, and reading that and thinking about me now and looking at how much things have changed, I know that in the future they're going to change even more. And probably in 10 years when I read this, I'll be shocked, even more shocked than I am now, at how much things have changed. And then 5 or 10 years when I watch this, I'm going to be shocked about how things have changed. When I think about my future, I still see that teacher dream, and advice to my future self is just to never give up on that. I have wanted to be a teacher since I was little. I remember playing teacher and putting my stuffed animals on the bed, pretending to be the teacher. Like, that's always been something that's been like laid on my heart that I feel like God wants me to do. The most important thing in that letter that I look at now, and if I would pick out one thing that like I really am glad that I said that, because I can still say that now, was at the end when I said, I know God will help me, He always does. And I know that was really short in the span of this whole letter, but that's something I still believe and something that I want my future self to know. Since the time period of 8th grade to now, I've really been in some really difficult situations where I didn't really know like what to do, and my faith wasn't as strong, and I didn't know if I could rely on God for all of my problems, because oh my gosh, my problems are so big. But then if you think like how big God is, He can like conquer any of those problems. And that is one thing that I just never want to forget, is to always rely on God. And yeah, it's just a ton easier with Him by your side. So like in my letter, I mentioned having a boyfriend, and one of the things I want to tell my future self is that always to put God in your relationship, which at 8th grade, I really didn't. Yeah, I knew like that's what they said in church and all that stuff, but I didn't like, first of all, 8th grade relationship, is it really serious? I was too young to know, but now I'm 20 and I'm old enough to know that the only way that a relationship is going to work if God is in the center of it. So your relationship should be you, your significant other, and God. Like, that's just how I believe it should be, and that's how a successful relationship should go. A tip to my future self that I really didn't mention in here, something that I've always struggled with, is self-confidence and comparing myself to another girl, and just all of this stuff that makes girls sad. Like, I want to learn how to not compare myself to others. I want to grow in my relationship with myself. And what I mean by that is that I want to love myself for who I am. Loving yourself is such a big thing that like everyone posts about, like love yourself before relationship, all of this stuff. And honestly, like loving yourself is a huge factor in being happy. I guess honestly, tips or advice that I would want to give myself, other than what I already just said, is to just try to be happy every day. Like when I wake up in a bad mood, I have a bad habit of letting that mood affect my whole day. And another humongous one that I've just learned kind of growing up is to spend as much time with family as possible. Make time for your family, because your family, they're the people that are there for you no matter what. They're the people that you can rely on when times are hard. The more we appreciate them and let them know we appreciate them, like the better and happier you'll feel and they'll feel, because of just love. And that's really all of the advice, like big advice that I can think of. And I'm pretty sure like I went like way too long just talking, and I'll probably have to cut a lot of this out. And this advice that I've given wasn't only for myself. Like, yeah, these are the major things that I see that I want to keep in my life or I want to improve in my life. But honestly, all of these tips, you could either use them in your life or, you know, change them a little bit. And one last tip of advice would be to do what you love, because if you're doing something or working somewhere that you don't love, you're going to be miserable. And like I said, I love teaching, and I can't wait to be a teacher in a classroom one day. And I love baking, and I love decorating cakes and giving it to my customer and their face just lighting up and them telling me, oh, it was so good. And I'm like, yay, I made someone happy, and like I helped them with either a birthday party, baby shower, like wedding, whatever it may be. Like that's what I love doing. But that's really all I have for this video. And if you liked it, give it a thumbs up. And I know it was a little weird because my 8th grade didn't really, okay, my 8th grade one really didn't have advice, but you know, what's an 8th grader gonna say? But anyways, I hope you really liked this video and that you subscribe to my channel if you're not already, because I post new videos every week. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time. Bye!